Evening, I'm Dan Wall.
And I'm Laura Lee. Thanks for joining us. America's largest online retailer will soon build a facility in Duluth.
Northern News Now's Michaela Wrench learned today what the new distribution facility will mean for our local economy.
The name Amazon brings a lot of attention with it, especially when it provides a boost to the growth and development of businesses in the surrounding areas. The distribution center will provide not only short-term jobs like construction, but permanent jobs with Amazon and even spin-off jobs.
The developers who are looking at this area saying, if Amazon's choosing to do business here and choosing to invest in Duluth, maybe we should be looking there as well.
More jobs, more opportunities, and faster package deliveries are just a few things the community can expect to see in the near future. Although construction has yet to begin, the distribution center will be built in Atlas Industrial Park in West Duluth. The city hopes the project will help bring the site back to life.
So the great thing about this is, number one, it's on a Minnesota State highway, which is one of the benefits for a distribution center is easy access to a trunk highway.
Additionally, the neighboring areas shouldn't have to worry about construction impacts.
There should be limited impacts to citizen travel, even through construction. There is going to be some reconstruction of the road to the north side of Atlas because that will provide them with 2 entrances and 2 exits to their site.
A plan is in motion for the area to see a portion of the revenue.
Our hope is that we can take some of this money and either incentivize further investment into Atlas as an economic development authority or to make the site more attractive for further investment.
City leaders hopeful that Amazon is just the first of many businesses to consider building in West Duluth. In Duluth, Michaela Wrench, Northern News Now.
It's still very early, but Ron Chetty tells us he's hopeful construction could begin as early as this summer.
No word on how many jobs the facility could create, but other Amazon distribution facilities have as many as 1,500 full-time employees.